Welcome to the Construction Brothers Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Campbell, and with me, like he is every week, my brother, Eddie Campbell.
What's up, Tyler?
Not much, Eddie. And this week, we were talking about heavy metal summer camp.
Tyler, I don't know how we've been doing what we're doing here, but we keep matching.
Bro, okay. I literally walked out the door this morning.
You were trying not to match?
No. I walked out the door this morning, got in my truck, started driving, and I went, looked down. Dang it, I knew that we were going to match because it's Friday Eddie. What does Friday Eddie wear every single week? Black shirt and jeans. Every week,
I don't know why.
Without fail, 100% of the time.
Why do we wear black on Friday? I should wear something cheery. I used to wear my funny, silly shirts on Friday. Maybe I should bring that back.
Hawaiian shirts on Friday. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
Brian Riddle did that. Like he was always good for a Hawaiian shirt on Friday.
He totally did.
I don't think I can pull the Hawaiian shirt off, though.
No.
So,
well, I don't know. You could. I think you could do a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah,
I think it could look good. It could look nice.
I'm kind of like Emmett on the Lego movie. Like, I'm dark and brooding.
Okay. My kids just got into Lego movie, by the way. It's a great age, guys. I'm so happy because we're out of like Doc McStuffins and stuff, and like I don't know, Blippi, and man, Blippi's
could have been worse.
I envy his business acumen. I do not like him as a human being, though, just because he annoys me. He annoys me to death.
It could have been Caillou.
Don't talk about Caillou. Angie, how's it going? Good to see you again. Get us out of here.
Yeah. You know, I got to tell you, my kids are 28 and 24, so I don't know the Lego movie anymore, Tyler.
Oh, my gosh.
Do they like Caillou?
I don't know. I don't know.
I got to say, Lego movie is pretty awesome. It's a lot more for adults than you might think. I find myself cracking up the entire movie. They're just little nuggets. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and a lot of big names in it. I mean, Chris Pratt plays Emmett. It's hilarious.
It sounds like a Friday evening after a few drinks movie.
Oh, 100%.
You should. Yes.
You
would crack up.
You and the hubby would enjoy this. Like, I love it. So I've been very excited. And then they have the Batman Lego movie as well. Yeah. And then they've got Lego movie 2, which I haven't seen yet.
Batman is Will Arnett.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he does an amazing job.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
That's just all he's...
It's a lot of just really good humor.
Okay.
And we are Lego nerds.
We
are building nerds. And here we are.
This is a digression. But hey, Lego's a really good way of saying like, hey, this is a great way to get kids involved in building.
Oh, beautiful transition.
Thank you. And Angie, you're doing something that we've talked about before, but we wanted to come back and get an update on stuff because it's just heavy metal summer camp. It's amazing what you guys are doing. And it's growing like wildfire. So tell us all about it. How did everything go? Give us updates.
Yeah, you know, that's the part that has overwhelmed me a bit is how much and how fast we are growing. Heavy Metal Summer Experience was kind of set up to have a summer camp in our shop. So at the time I started it, I was the president and CEO of Western Allied Mechanical. And we just decided that we needed to stop talking about workforce development, how we need more people in our trades, and actually do something about it. We kind of wanted some skin in the game. So I proposed a business plan to my partners to run a summer camp in our shop. And it ended up that I shared the idea with my peer group member, Hermanson, up in Seattle. And so we had one in Menlo Park and one in Seattle. First summer, we had 28 kids total, 2 locations. And then we wrote a playbook to share with other contractors about the camp. And the next summer, with me kind of going across the country as SMACTA president at the time, sharing the vision, at that point, we ended up having 11 locations last summer and 170 kids. And this summer, we're at 22 locations and almost 400 kids. So it's amazing how quickly it's taken off. And I have so many more contractors interested in next summer that we just couldn't get them to rally up as they wanted to do it, but it was a little bit too late to get started.
Why do you feel like it's taken off this much? I know there are contractors getting behind it, but like kids are showing up for this. Like, why are kids showing up? It's fun. I get that. But is there other things at work here for why they're coming?
Part of it is, I think we do have a tendency to work in the underserved areas. We try to attract the kids from the underserved areas. These are kids that I mean, there's a lot of kids that aren't meant to go to college. I mean, you and I have talked about this. College is not for everybody. I mean, there are kids out there that were getting close to graduating high school and they don't know what they want to do, and they know they don't want to go to college. So they're looking for opportunities, and so are their parents, because their parents are hoping that they can find something that they can do other than, if they don't want to go to college or they don't have the money to go to college, that they can still be successful with. Part of it is too, you can go do a job fair at a high school and tell them about the trades. But that's 10 minutes they're going to listen. This is 30 hours of, they actually do almost like Legos, but they make their own, piping and sheet metal, and they cut and bend metal. They solder and weld pipe. All of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, this is actually really fun, and I could do this, and I'm interested in this, and it could be a great career. As well as we show them the technology side of construction and how much technology is taken off. I mean, they don't have to be the one out in the field. They could be the one at the computer doing the BIM. So they learn all of that, and there's just so many things they can learn. It seems like their eyes open up. I mean, even some of the interviews we've had with the kids afterwards, or in the videos that are on my website, the kids say, I had no idea about sheet metal, but this is kind of fun. Or, wow, my eyes are opened up to a new possibility for what I could do as a career. And it doesn't help that we tell them how much they could make in construction as well. And that certainly helps them a little bit. So
For sure.
yeah.
So that's awesome, because you're taking people and putting their hands on it.
Right.
And that's a great way to learn. I mean, there's a big difference between that class you had to just sit there and listen to the droning lecture.
Right.
And then the one you got to apply yourself in. Yeah. So you went into that a little bit, but how are they applying themselves? Like, what kind of things are they getting their hands in?
Right. So in the beginning, we have an introduction session the very first day they come to camp. And camp is usually like 2.5 hours long. And I mean, there's a lot of different ways to run the camp. And we've had a full week camp, or in our situation, we do like 6 or 7 weeks for 2.5 hours on Tuesday and Thursday, let's say. But we get them there, we give them a good introduction on safety, and we talk a lot about that. That's probably the droning thing, but we try to make them understand that safety is really, really important. And we give a tour of our shop, we give them a tour of our BIM departments, and we tell them all about construction. And they get a new set of boots. They get a set of Red Wing boots that first day. And then we tell them, okay, you're going to come in the next class and you are going to start working. So then we get them in there and we start. So we break them up and we send some to sheet metal and some to piping. And the ones in piping learn a little bit about press fit piping, or they learn literally we have to show them how to use a tape measure. I mean, we're, okay, you got to measure this long, and we're showing them how to do that, because that hasn't something that they haven't done, a lot of them. Then we're showing them what soldering is. Oh, and I tell you, kids love fire. I mean, that goes over really well. The braze the pipe and everything. And then they really want to weld after that. So, and the sheet metal, we're having them learn how to program the laser. I mean, to actually take the drawing or whatever we have them type in their name, so that they can type in their name and then they can cut their name out of sheet metal. So we teach them that, and then they can go see the laser cut it out. And then we show them how to bend it and to fold it into a toolbox, for example. We've made a toolbox, we've made a pooper scooper, different things for them to make. We're going to make roses this year for them. They can give their moms out of the sheet metal. I think a lot of it is they really start to see what can be done with pipe and metal. And we're actually, this year, we're adding an electrical section and a service section into our camp. So we're going to make, in my camp, we're going to make a electrical box that they can put next to their bed, kind of like in a hotel that has a USB port and a plug port, and they can plug it in and put it next to their bed. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to teach them a little bit about an air conditioning unit and service. So it just gives them a chance to really hands-on, and their eyes are opened up, and it is a little bit like Legos to a certain degree.
That's, to me, it's so cool because you're putting their hands on it. And also, I visited y'all's shop, the Western Allied shop. So I don't know how a kid could walk in there and not be just excited to get to use some of those tools, because I almost got thrown out because, I was trying to use the laser cutter. I'm just kidding. No. But there are a lot of really cool tools that you guys have out there. And so, I mean, it's nice that you guys are bringing them into a shop environment and showing them like, it's not just like in that environment, it's not just dirty work. Honestly, it's a lot of head knowledge and it's a lot of technology that's being implemented now. And it's just, there's a boom of technology that's also happening. Thing that I've been saying a lot is like, Silicon Valley's great, but honestly, construction is like the new Silicon Valley. There's so much that can be done here and innovation that you can harness and leverage. It's so cool.
It's really exciting. We have a new shop. We just moved.
I saw your new one.
You
That's
saw
the one I'm
one.
talking about.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that thing, and we've now got all the robotics going in that shop and everything else. They're going to be so excited when they come to the camp this year and see that major shop. But Technology in construction it really excites me because at the MAP Innovation, they had venture capitalists investing in technology. I'm going to go away from heavy metal for a second, but that makes me so excited because if venture capitalists are willing to invest in construction technology, that means that construction companies are adopting it. Because the only way they're going to invest is if we adopt the technology. So it's really exciting to see that. And that's what I try to tell the kids is that this is not your old vision of what a construction site looks like. I don't know if I can say this or not, but I say it's not your butt crack plumber anymore. It's not. But it's basically construction you can do whatever you want with construction. And that's what we're trying to share. And I think most of our trades in the unionized side said it's word of mouth is how they hear about getting in the trades. So what we need to do is break into other areas that look like our communities. And so like in East Palo Alto, where I work with, that community is highly minority, Hispanic and Black. And that's not looking like what our industry looks like a lot. A little bit of Hispanic here in California, but not as much as you'd like. Now, all of a sudden, it was really great. My first camp. So one of the challenges when the kids graduate from high school is that they have to have a driver's license to join the union as well. So a number of my kids took about a year to get a driver's license that graduated the first camp. And once they did, then they went ahead and took the test and they applied for the union and they passed the test. And the next thing they knew, they're scheduled to do an interview for the apprenticeship. So 3 of these kids were very nervous about it. So the lady that helps with them called me and said, "Can we do mock interviews?" I said, "Great." So 5 kids showed up for mock interviews. And I'm like, "Okay, well, who are you two?" And so one of them was the older brother of one of the kids. He said, "Well, I was working at Lowe's, but my brother told me all about this and it sounds way better. So I took the test and passed too." And then the other one was a friend of one of the kids. And so all of a sudden I got really excited. Okay, now word of mouth is happening in communities that need this and that are minority communities where we can make our construction industry look a little bit more like the demographics of the cities we live in. That makes me excited. So those 5 kids, we did mock interviews with them. We tried to calm them down. We gave them some tips and they did really well when they went and interviewed. So we're starting to get the kids in the trades, which is a great story.
Opportunity is going to have a halo effect around it. When one person finds opportunity, it's very natural for them to talk about that to the people around them. And that's creating a positive buzz in the industry. So 400 kids coming up this summer, you're beating people away with a stick about opportunities for the next cities and next places they can do it and how we can integrate it in other trades. But I love one thing, and that's that you've got a playbook. Like, you guys did the thing and wrote it down. Can you talk a minute about that? Like, how could you help somebody out that wants to get into it?
Yeah, so the playbook, it was written by both basically Hermanson and Western Allied, by a bunch of contractors. So it's written in contractor talk, probably more so than proper English talk. But we share everything we did. We share forms, for example, permission slips that we came up with for the parents. We share media release and content release forms. We share JHAs and hot work permits for the different projects that we came up with. We have an appendix with every project that we have done so far. And even last summer with 11 camps, I got everybody to send me any additional projects that they did. And we did a revision too. We added all the additional projects into the appendix. We added lessons learned into the appendix as well. Not in the appendix, but in the lessons learned section, if a contractor learned something that they wanted to share. So I'm asking all the contractors to share as they go through this. So every year we intend to, after the summer camps, to have a Rev 3 and a Rev 4 so that we can add more, particularly more 3D. We have the detailed projects that we add. And like, for example, last summer fundraising, one of the contractors shared a form that she put out, and I put that in the playbook about how she fundraised with some of her vendors and stuff to help support their camp. So we gave a detailed schedule of everything we did in the camp. We gave them scenarios. And the feedback I've gotten is that playbook has really, really taken the pressure off of having to create a camp themselves. And then they just kind of follow that the first summer. And then it's exciting because the second summer, I have a lot of camps all the camps are repeating from last summer. And then this summer, the second summer, they're really wanting to branch out and try some new stuff. For example, Silicon Valley Mechanical in my area, they have 6 kids from their first camp that want to come back. So they're going to invite them back and they have some special projects for them that are more advanced, but they're also going to have them be supervisors of the kids that are there this summer. Another company, Canastraro in Boston, they actually offered internships to the kids that had graduated high school, or maybe just, I don't know if they graduated high school or just returners, but they offered them internships in their shop this summer so they could work full-time in their shop this summer if they wanted to. So I think I love the creativity of the different camps, and Heavy Metal Summer Experience is there to support, but we're not there to sell you have to fit into this mold. We want you to be creative. So I got in Kansas City, there's the MCA and the SMACNA, which is the Sheet Metal and the Piping Associations. They're working together to run a camp, and they're running it in the Plumbing Training Center, the Piping Training Center, and the Sheet Metal Training Center, and then graduations at the Builders Exchange. So I thought that was kind of neat. We're doing a lot of co-op type stuff. And next summer, if I can get into pulling electrical, we'd be a trifecta there. I'd like that.
That's amazing. So you're talking about some of the internships and stuff. I think that kind of leads into the next question, which is like just results, like graduates of this program. Like, have you seen anybody go out and get a really cool job, or like what's the horizon looking like for a lot of these kids?
At the camp that was run in Southern California at Superior Duck Fab, they had 6 kids that were 18 that were graduated high school. So, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the kids in the schools in the camp might be going into junior year or going into senior year. So they really can't be employed. They're going to be going back to school. But the ones that have graduated, they had 6 kids that have graduated, and he offered him, and Superior Duck Fab offered all 6 of them jobs. 5 of them are pre-apprentices or apprentices now, depending on if they've gotten into the apprenticeship yet. We have people working for us that were in the camp the first year and the second year. The one story that's really cool, and I'm trying to recall if I told you guys this not last time, but the very first camp we had, there was a young lady in the camp that was just doing really well up in Seattle. She was great. And the mom at graduation came up to Jana, who ran our camp up there, and she said, "Can I talk to you?" And she said, "Sure." She says, "Well, I'm a housekeeper. My husband's a framer." She said, "My daughter, her last semester of senior year was in a very dark place. She got very depressed." The mom started crying. She said, "I lost my daughter. I don't know where she went." And then she said, "And then she got into your camp, and 6 weeks later, I have my daughter back. She is a new person. She loves what she's doing." Well, that young lady got a job as a pre-apprentice with Hermanson, applied for the apprenticeship. Now she's been in the apprenticeship for over a year. So she's going into the second year of apprenticeship, and she's kicking butt. And she loves it, and she's doing super well. They actually pay her to come help at the camp because it's kind of overtime. And most people are volunteers, but they said she's an apprentice. They want to pay her. But she's been helping at the camp because she's a great spokesperson for the camp.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. You get those kids in there, and then you have somebody who's graduated who can feed into it and be like, "Stick with it, kids, stick with it," and like give advice and like give encouragement from somebody who's been in their shoes. And that's a really cool thing, how that's just starting to swirl around like that already.
And she's working 40 hours a week and in major demand. The foremen all want her because she works really hard. So it's a great story. And she's going to be, probably by the time she turns out, she'll be a foreman. I mean, she's so focused on things. She's really motivated. I mean, and that's a great story. And the mom and the dad were so appreciative of the fact that her daughter found something that she was very interested in. I look at it, and if every camp we have can change one kid's life, and then also if every camp can get a couple kids interested in the trades, I mean, we need so many more people in the trades. It's the way to go. And it's so easy to get volunteers to work at the camp because once they've worked it once, they want to work it again. It's so fun. The project managers love it. My field guys. I mean, I'm getting a lot of retired sheet metal and piping workers that want to come back and volunteer at the camp. And I think that's really cool because they see how fun it is to give back.
This is an easy, net positive from the standpoint of, hey, we're bringing more people into the industry, but like, I'm curious, like, how has it affected your company by doing this? Because in some ways it's like, I don't know if this makes financial sense for us, right? I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, we're putting out all this time and all this energy to create this camp, and the benefits that we get out of it are like, okay, we could have a couple kids come in after that, and that's great, but we spent a lot of money and a lot of time on this. But I know there's got to be more impact than just that, right? So people that are kind of skeptical and saying, yeah, okay, we can invest all this money into it, but like, is that really going to help our business right now? Like, or is this more of a long-term play? How are you seeing it impact businesses, I guess?
Well, besides being the right thing to do, which we all know that's part of it, right? It is helping a lot. I mean, we are seeing people getting into our trades from it, but on top of that, the benefits to the employees that volunteer are huge. I mean, we're seeing the generation that we've got, the 20, 30-year-old generation, they want to give back. And the fact that we were able to do this and have them give back is huge. I mean, they fight over how many volunteers we have. Like one story, for example, There was a senior project manager that was moved from Boston back to the Bay Area, and he interviewed with the four bigger contractors in the Bay Area, and we're one of those. He interviewed, and we're all probably offered very similar salaries. And he told me he came to work for us. And then I met him and I was talking to him, and he said, the only reason I chose Western Allied is because you guys run this camp. I think this is the coolest thing in the world. I want to make sure I can give back. So even just recruiting people was a great way to do it, because this guy came to our company because we run the camp. And all companies probably have their own nonprofit stuff that they do. They do we also do other stuff. We do the stair climb with American Heart Association or Lung Association, I think it is. And we have a whole bunch of different things we do, but this one is definitely our passion. And I'll tell you, when I share the story with my group, because it's my sheet metal and piping superintendents and shop superintendents that developed the projects in the first place. The pride when I tell them that we're going to have 400 kids in 22 locations, and that next summer it'll be 50 locations, the pride they have is so great, because they helped start this and they realize it's such an important thing. The union realizes it too. The union is a good partner for us, and they certainly are excited about it because they need more people in the trades. So I think your companies will be surprised what the good benefits it will have in regards to your employees and actually your clients. I mean, some of these sheet metal are sheet metal only, and some of the sheet metal only are teaming with their client, the mechanical, to run a camp. And think about that. That's a great way to get in with your client even better too, by doing that.
You know, a word that we like to use a lot here is purpose.
Yeah.
And it strikes me that young lady that you were speaking of, like, she found purpose, and that brought her out of that dark place into a better place. And mom saw that immediately. I love that this has, and I'll be guilty of a little bit of churchy language, but this has an evangelism component and this has a discipleship component, right? Because we're spreading the good word, but then we're also having hands-on direct mentorship with the people. And what I love about what you said, the people that are getting to work it, what I've known about mentorship relationships that have been in my life is that, I'm trying to do the right thing. And that's a core component of, like, why should you do this camp? Do the right thing. Like, invest back. Like, do the right thing. Reach back. That's a part of it. But don't think that there's not benefit in that. Because when you reach back, when that young, starry-eyed person comes in and looks at what you do and they say, man, that's cool. Like, when they see it with fresh eyes and then make you realize all over again, wow, what I get to do every day, it is actually pretty cool. Like, it's become somewhat mundane at times, but no, if my perspective's right, I get to do a cool thing every day. I'm contributing to all this. Like, there's a perspective that young person brings to you, and there will be purpose in the people that get to work these. So I think this is amazing, because you're giving purpose to young people, but you're also giving the purpose to the tradespeople that are there helping work it. This is a win. Like, I think this is a very good thing, and it's a give back too, which, I mean, if we have to point generationally, millennials are looking for that sort of thing to be involved with a company.
Well, millennials and Gen Z, that's a big thing for them, is purpose. And that's the reason why we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Right. That's very important. And they really do want to give back. And the other thing that we're finding is we're getting huge support from the industry. So besides DeWalt and Milwaukee, which are amazing, that they have donated to us tool bags for the kids to take home. They're full of hand tools, as well as an impact drill and a battery and a charger. And so those are expensive tool bags. I have enough tool bags for 400 kids this year, half DeWalt, half Milwaukee. And they're donating all the PPE, the vests and the glasses and the gloves. And but we've also had Procore has stepped up. Train just recently stepped up and donated as one of our major sponsors. Mestech Machinery sponsors. We have a Trimble and Nika and SmackNet and MCA are all big sponsors in it. We're seeing that people are realizing that we've got to help to promote the industry. And I mean, I love the industry, and there's so much excitement about where this industry is going, including with technology, that we just need to continue to share that story and get into areas that we haven't before. So, I have targets for next summer. I want to get in Chicago. I want to get in, I want to get into some of the bigger cities, so that those are the areas that they need that help as well. I'm excited about it. I also, if anything, like I said, it's overwhelming. It's grown so fast, and I still feel like I'm a little bit of a It's a startup, but I'll figure it out.
It's all good. That's part of the fun, right? So, do you have a map or something on your website that shows all the different camps, or all the ones that are happening?
We do. We do. We made a map. It's a really cool map, and it's now on my website. For this summer, it's the 22 locations, and it actually gives the city and everything and the context. So our website is www.hmse.org, which stands for Heavy Metal Summer Experience.org. And we've got the videos on there too, which are fun to watch because it shares how we interview the kids and they talk about how cool this was and that maybe they might want to try this and that kind of stuff. So it's really fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that people knew where to find that stuff, because if there is one in their city or near them, they could potentially get involved or collaborate in some capacity, or even see that, hey, this isn't happening in my state. Maybe they could step up and take this as well and go kind of start to do it in their own neighborhood. Because it's just so cool. I want to see this thing grow past 2,000, 3,000 like in the next couple of years. Personally, I think it will.
I need to hire more people.
Lofty goals. I think we can do it.
Yeah, and good luck with all that.
Have fun, Angie. No.
That's a lot of tool bags to put together. I'll tell you that. So
Hey, thanks, guys.
That's
but that I agree that I would too. You know what? Part of this is there's a couple things I like to challenge contractors to say you got to have some skin in the game, and we can't expect people just to hand us people. So we need to go out and help find them and develop them, and you have so much more pride when you develop somebody that starts with your company. And I have many people at Western Ally that started their apprenticeship with us, and they've been with us their entire career. And it's one of those things where I think a couple of these kids from our camps are going to be that way. They're going to start with us, and as long as we can keep busy enough, that we're always going to keep them going. And if they're good workers, we'll keep them going. It's kind of fun. I mean, and not every kid will work out. One young lady worked with us for a year from my first camp, and then she said, I think I'm going to try being a nurse. I'm like, okay, it's always there if you want to come back. You're not going to get everybody.
I'm sure that trade is going to serve her well, and even being a nurse. Like that's the funny thing, is that you pick up a skill like this, it's going to last you a lifetime. We talked about this recently. Like, a skill lasts you a lifetime. If you even go become a nurse, there is going to be stuff from that trade that you're going to pull into it. Like, it's hilarious the amount of steel detailing that I've dragged into my media agency. Hysterical. And it's it's amazing to me, like all the different skills that I learned in the trades that I carried with me as an entrepreneur, as all of these different things, as a video editor. It's hysterical. But I got to say too, Angie, like I'm super proud of what you've done. Like, this is so cool, because when you go to conferences, when you go to industry organizations, you hear a lot of wah about how there are no people out in the industry to hire. And nobody's coming up with solutions. Everybody's just pointing at the problem and saying, I hope somebody solves it.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to say that this is one of those things like that it's you've actually said, you know what? We're going to do something, and it may not be perfect, but we're going to do something. We're going to try. And that's what it's going to take. It's just messy action.
It's a little overwhelming because I feel like it's just a drop in the bucket, and it started as just a drop in the bucket, but the ripples are kind of happening faster than I expected. And so it's a small thing, but you know what? I'm also being reached out by teachers in different areas that are teaching some shop type classes, and they're asking, can I look at your playbook? So I'll share that with a teacher, because a teacher can teach those type of classes. But I think it's just a matter of, if I'm getting some traction, we are working really hard. I hired a group in Iowa to help me with social media. And we are getting traction now on social media. And like in Michigan, she needs some more people for her camp, for the 2 camps that they have. They need a few more kids. So they're now putting social media out about that. And, Omaha, she's packed. She's got enough kids. St. Louis, they've got enough kids. But there, a lot of the areas that are still looking for kids, we're starting to put out social media, and we're getting lots of contacts. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of the more experience I could get. If I could get another person to help me, that I'm outside my comfort zone a little bit in the social media and the updating my own website and things like that. I was CEO of a big company, but I had people that did that. But I'll work on it.
I was going to hit that a little bit because, I mean, a lot of times in nonprofits, I mean, it's funny to say, it might be easy to come by donations, but it's very difficult to come by the sweat equity, like the people that are going to invest their hands in their work. Maybe could you offer a few specifics, like how do you need help? What could somebody do to help you?
Well, I know this summer I could use what we call, I think we called originally they called them advisor or brand advisors, but we called them badass liaisons. So basically, for example, we have one, Dean Fox. He worked at Hermanson, but he retired. He was director of labor at Hermanson. So he now lives in Temecula in California, and he loves the idea. So he said, can I be a liaison? So what's nice is I can assign Dean like 5 or 6 of the camps and say, okay, I want you to call these guys regularly, email them, see what you can do for them. Even like in the ones in LA, he would drive to, but we're going to try to get him to go to graduation or to go to a camp and make sure that we attend a camp and to support them. But when they have questions, so right now I'm the liaison for a lot of them, but Dean is my other liaison. I need more retired folks that want to be liaisons. I'll pay their expenses to go to graduation and to stay in the hotels and stuff. But it's just the time and effort of calling them and helping them and holding the hand. Once you've done one camp, it's a piece of cake at that point. You figure it out and you don't necessarily need somebody to hold your hand. So this summer, we probably have about 12 or 13 camps. We're trying to hold their hands a little more. But anytime we have the new camps, we kind of got to hold their hands. So more liaisons would be great. Anybody who wants to get involved. And this summer, I roped my brother in, who is, he's in education. He's actually got his doctorate of education. And he is retiring from the company that he's working with in June. And he's out there in New Hampshire. So he's going to go by Boston. He's going to go by Buffalo. He's going to go to the Canada one for me. And he's going to attend those. And then I'm going to see if I can rope him into maybe being my executive director. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But just a matter of giving more attention and helping us with that. And even my social media group out of Iowa, they're doing this almost at their costs, which is great because they think it's a great idea. And they work for the construction industry a lot. So they realize the importance of this, so which is really great.
That's amazing.
Okay, so if you're listening and you just heard that need, liaison. Now, I'm going to out the fact that I doubt too many people that are retiring are listening to our podcast.
Yeah, true.
I just have a feeling that it's just not the niche we fit. But I also think that there's somebody out there that probably knows that person. So if you're thinking right now, hey, that's not me, but maybe I know somebody, like scour your brain.
Dad
think
needs
about
something
it.
to do.
Think about it. Think about it. And then, that's a cool opportunity to be able to work with kids, to give back, live for significance, right? And so that'd be an awesome thing.
And the other thing is if you are working in your current and you think there's a need, then talk to your company about it and see if you can convince them. I mean, it really takes just one champion in each company that says, I want to do this. And most companies, if that champion says, I'm willing to take the time and do this, and it'll be time at work time some, but it's going to be a lot of your personal time too, trying to get it coordinated. Because each company has a champion that I work with, and they do put, that first year particularly, they do put a lot of time in. The key there would be to build a team within the company so that they can share the load. And that's what we've done at Western Allied. We've really got it down pretty well. It still takes us work. And we like this afternoon's tool bag packing party is an exception. Western Allied's volunteering to help me pack 225 tool bags, the Milwaukee ones. And that's not necessarily what every camp's going to do, because I'm going to send them the tool bags. But Western Allied, because I basically said, I need help, guys. We had the tools sent to Western Allied, and we had the tools sent to Hermanson. So Hermanson's doing the DeWalt, and I'm doing the Milwaukee tools this afternoon. So we're going to have a lot of pictures on social media here of us packing tools and maybe drinking a beer. We'll see.
See where the day goes.
It's Friday afternoon.
We'll keep an eye out on social this afternoon. Then, if that's the case, you guys who are listening to this might need to dig back just a couple weeks before to see it. But still, we'll look for it. Well, Angie, this is all fantastic information. We're gonna put all of the info to heavy metal down in the show notes and stuff. So if anybody has any questions. Is that a good way to reach you?
Yes.
Is just go through the website, or do you have an email or anything that you want people to reach out to?
The email's on the website, and I love. I mean, the website's not super fancy, but it's fancy enough, and it's good enough. I've got an email address on there. There's videos. There's the map, and there's actually a detail of each location that's having a camp this summer, and the contact people. So and the schedules actually to say when their camps are, because the schedules are all across the board. I mean. The training center in LA is doing a 1-week camp. Some of them are doing just actually St. Louis is doing a 1-week camp with a couple days of touring of contractors. But some of them are doing like me, I'm doing a 7-week camp. So it's just 2 days a week in the afternoons. So They're all across the board. So take a look at the schedule on their website and you can check it out.
Just an idea to throw out there for anybody listening is social media posts go a long way. All right. So if you know that there is one of these camps in your area and you want to try to spread awareness about it into the community, honestly, just going out and finding one of the videos that have been posted or just reposting it and trying to get that traffic going, you'd be amazed. Like some people in your community might see it and one of their kids might go to one of these camps and it might, be an amazing experience for them. So, hey, I'm just spitballing here. That might be a way to help out if you don't have the monetary means. Hey, social media, just tear it up.
Yep. I think that would be really good.
Yeah, you listeners, you got homework.
Yeah, I gave homework, guys.
We got some homework for the listeners this week.
Teacher Tyler over here.
And there's one other every year when the camps are over, I get new projects in and I have to update the playbook. Last fall, when I was updating the playbook, it's in a program called InDesign, which I didn't make in the first place. Somebody else made it, right? And now I've got to update it in InDesign, and that person who did it originally is no longer around. They had left. And so I ended up my son's a journalist. He works for the San Jose Merc, the newspaper here. And he made a comment to me about about November 1st. And he said, "Hey, Mom, you got my Christmas presents all done?" I said, "Yeah, pretty much." He goes, "Can I ask for one more thing?" I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "I really would like a subscription to InDesign." And I go, "Oh, do you know how to use it?" He goes, "I do." And I said, "Okay, here's the deal. Every year I'll buy you InDesign, but you got to help me update the playbook. But anybody else who can do InDesign and wants to volunteer in the fall, I can send updates to them too as well." Those are little things that, like I said, as a company owner, you had people who did that. Now I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, we're going to talk about that after the recording because I might have somebody in mind that can help you out with that. That's fantastic. But all right, now the more important matter is this, and we've asked you this before, but I'm curious if it's changed. It's our megaphone question. So if we gave you a megaphone in around 60 seconds, a little more, we'll give you a little more this time, to say something to the whole industry, what would you want to leave people with? What would you want to encourage them to do?
Well, I think the number one thing, a little bit what we already talked about, is I'm looking at our industry and saying it's our industry. We made this industry. It's a great industry. So we need to take responsibility for it, meaning we need to get the word out there of what a great industry it is and what a great career the trades can be. Or in the office. And if you want to go to college, be a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, great. But if college is not for you, this industry is amazing. And so just like my call out to contractors, stop talking about it. Stop complaining. It's time for you to get some skin in the game. Do something about it. And there's many ways you can do it. You don't have to do heavy metal summer experience, but it's a great avenue to an idea of one way you can do it. If you have your own idea to how to advertise for the trades, great. But we as a group need to share the booming technology that we have and the story of the construction, because otherwise we're going to be short on people in the next 5 years. I mean, everybody's retiring and we need to pull them all in to share the story of the trades. And I feel like I repeat myself, but it's the best kept secret, a career in the trades. And I just think that we need to share that story because there's no college involved. They don't have to pay anything. They go to work and they learn it as they go, and they do a great job with it, and they love what they do, and they're proud of it. That's my megaphone thing.
It's like you started a mosh pit over here, man. I feel like throwing my chair and just screaming, yes! I love it. Angie, thanks for joining us again. We always love it when you come on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I love to tell the story because I think it's important for people to hear about it and to take some ownership of where the future of our industry lies.